Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Taco Tuesday to you, and a fantastic job on the Gala trades here. For some of my community members are taking in some massive profits. In fact, if we take a quick look at the profits, you can see here, again, this isn't the Gala, of course, but this is a nice Pepe trade here for Pepe Community USDT. Good job there, Chef. And of course, a lot of other folks doing very, very well here. We are doing good as a community too. Just keep in mind our leverage is very low. So keep in mind we just use 5x leverage. We took 37% from a lever short here in the last 24 to 48 hours. So awesome stuff there. Congrats again to our community members. And hopefully you can learn a thing or two here today. So the whole point of taking a look here at Gala is to understand if it's going to continue higher or if it's going to pull back. So the way to kind of properly do that, since these Fibonacci levels are still pretty sound here, we're going to go ahead and reverse the fibs and see roughly where we're at. It makes sense we're rejecting off 1.618. Any 0.618, 1.618, 2.618, these are all key level Fibonacci retracements, and that's like the most, I wouldn't say sought after, but the most consistent Fibonacci level that you'll find in trading. So, I mean, as you can kind of see here, for example, the cup and handle came right down here to bounce off 0.618. Coming up here, it's initially rejecting off of 1.618. It's a very, very common characteristic, and it's no surprise too if you kind of take a look at the volume here. The second most amount of volume is in this range right here where the price is rejecting, because that was an initial area here, previous support. Now it's going to be considered a resistance. We just want to pay attention to that level. So 1.618 here to me feels like it will be an area in which we might see some resistance. We can break above that level, maybe a different story. Let's take a quick look at the daily and see if there's anything else kind of telling us what's going on. This is pretty obvious here. If you kind of take a look at the moving averages, you can kind of see the 50-day SMA holding initially strong as a resistance level. So to me, Gala would make sense for the price to pull back a little bit from where it's at here. Okay, it wouldn't make a ton of sense for the price to continue higher, but once again, it's already retested this level twice in the last 12 hours, so it could very well break, and we got to be mindful of that too. So what else here is proof telling us that we have potential for a pullback? Well, in truth, there isn't really anything minus the 50-day SMA telling us we should experience a pullback, and the main reason why, because we're back up over 50 on the RSI here. We came back down to test that support, test that as a support. But we have also got a lot of money flowing into this coin. As money flow index is high, so is the price. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this here. Again, the volume profile we've already noted that somewhere in the 1.4 to 1.45 range is a lot of volume. But right now, the 1.6 range has less volume, but it's starting to build. And if we zoom out a little bit, you will see, of course, this amount here is pretty strong. Okay, so that will work initially as a resistance, which is testing right now, and it'll eventually work as a support if we can close above that level. So the next couple of days, we close above that 50-day SMA, the stronger chance we'll see another run from Gala. Okay, so keep in mind the amount of volume we're seeing here today is higher than the previous day so far. Therefore, we can expect the price to kind of hold in place for a little bit longer. Now, it could very well dissipate. We're going to look at smaller time frames to identify that. But generally speaking, there's really nothing here we can see on the daily that's telling us it wants to pull back or should. Okay, so all good stuff on the macro. As I mentioned previously too, and just so you guys know as well, this is just kind of I use playout charts here on my Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. You can kind of use whichever platform works best for you, but basically the key takeaway here is that the macro is bullish. And while we did experience a pullback and the price bounced, it's still very, very strong right now. So be careful trading into this coin as far as a short position is concerned. I know a lot of folks are getting wrecked on the shorts. Okay, so on the 4 hour, what do we look at here? Well, let's identify a couple of things. Let's turn off the volume because we kind of already know what that looks like. We've got a significant amount of volume increase. We can see the ascending trend here is still working as our friend, running concurrent with the 50-day SMA. So the 50 and the 20 are both key indicators letting us know that we're on either the right or the wrong side of the tracks. Okay? So truth is here, we're maintaining this level here above the 20, and until the price action breaks below the 20 initially, we have no cause for concern for the price action to drop significantly hard. Now, can it and will it? Yes, this coin is highly manipulated. You got to recognize that. A lot of the owners, etc. There's some key level investors that really move the price action of this coin. Right now, they want to move it upwards. But the truth is, being above all these moving averages is very helpful, because even if the price were to pull back, the average person could essentially be able to help continue to maintain the price action. Because as we continue to add to this price, the market movers are having more difficulty getting it to move in either direction. Again, different stories. It's always dynamic, it always changes, but generally that's the concept there. As more popularity grows, coins can continue to maintain its price action until we get to a certain critical mass. We're not there yet on the daily. We can kind of see that we're kind of still in our early stages of this increase, and there's a great chance we could see the price continue higher. So we're above 70 on the RSI. I don't love that, but it is kind of bouncing and keeping itself above that level. It's okay to maintain the price action in this range. That's perfectly fine. But just know as the money flow comes down, we'll start to see the RSI go sideways. That's a key takeaway there, kind of a hidden bearish divergence where the price action could pull back. Okay, it's not giving us that sign just yet, but if the money flow index continues to remain low, we will start to see the price dissipate. Because again, all that really tells us right now is the bears are scared to short, and they're going to eventually get their courage and muster up the strength to go ahead and short this coin. And when that time is right and the money is flowing out of the coin, obviously that's when. Okay, so everything else looks pretty darn bullish, though. In truth, we're looking good. Let's see if there's any overextension, and we're kind of at a 4 here, which is great. That really just tells us we're about 16 hours into this 36-hour potential continuation. So to me, I would be very, very cautious and careful shorting this coin. I'd wait for the next liquidity sweep and kind of see what goes from there. Speaking of liquidity, let's go ahead and get a little bit bigger of a picture here so you can kind of see where we're at for previous liquidity levels and fair value gaps. So we got this previous gaps here and here. So in the upper range, so we've tested this initial area. A lot of times you'll test initial fair value gap, reject, and retry again. Okay, so we're retrying this range, which leads me to believe that this 2.0 mark on Fibonacci, roughly 1.7, could very well be tested, possibly 1.74. Okay, so the price is to continue upwards from here, especially in the next 20 hours. We see kind of an area of retest there in that the 2.0 range, basically 1.68 or 1.7, and that would be a key level to consider shorting because it would be massively overextended. We would also have filled those gaps and to effectively had that liquidity sweep. Okay? So those are things you can pay attention to here. Keep in mind there is liquidity at lower levels, of course, but we're a ways away from that. There is, of course, a fair value gap down here at 1.3. I don't think that'll happen unless Bitcoin retests, 25,000 or lower. Okay? If Bitcoin continues to trend upwards of 30,000, then we'll see coins like this still continue to thrive. Keep in mind, we talked yesterday about Bitcoin dominance and just kind of how that works. So if we take a look at our education section, I got this pinned message here. Again, I'd just like to revisit this in our video so you know. Bitcoin dominance is up and the Bitcoin price was up recently. So we did see a lot of altcoins come down. That said, we also saw GALA survive that downtrend and recover quite quickly. So that is a situation in which, even if Bitcoin were to maintain, its Bitcoin dominance and increase, other altcoins are going to suffer. We will see coins like this do very well. This is somewhat of an outlier. There's a small handful of coins that are performing better than the market. And if you take a look at this here too, in fact, this is a tweet I sent out earlier. Let's see if I can refresh. I think we sent it out here. Okay, it's not on here. I apologize, but it is on my Telegram. And what it basically does is just kind of a heat map showing basically where all the coins are hedged, if you will, based on volume. In fact, you know what? Let's see if I can pull that up here for us. I think it's right here. So let's just quickly pull this guy up here. We can see Solana and Matic, of course, doing very well. But look at this, GALA at a decent amount of volume and is performing quite well. Okay, so these are all little things that you want to kind of take into consideration and factor in. And what I'm getting at here is that the price of Bitcoin does matter because when Bitcoin dropped, we saw a drop from GALA. But the fact that it's recovered this strong in a short amount of time and Bitcoin's kind of going sideways right now is a very good sign that this coin will do well even if Bitcoin increases or decreases. Okay, so I just kind of want to drive that home. All right, so 4 hour we can summarize here. Still has plenty of gas left in the tank, even though we're overextended on the RSI. We're only about 4 or 5 hours, or 4 or 5 4-hour candles, roughly 16 to 20 hours in this continuation, and there's likely another day or so of bullish momentum. Okay? So what does that mean for us here? Let's take a look at the hourly and confirm we're above the cloud, all green lights here. No reason to close your long position. So even though you could and should take some profits, which actually, take a look at this here. We just got more profit there from Lever. That is awesome. Nice 52% there. Congrats again, community members. And these are just the automated trades. Like the money just keeps flowing in. It's really an awesome situation. So be sure to check that out. It's fully automated through Cornix. Really awesome service. Thanks again, Cornix, for allowing that to be an amazing part of our community. So the last thing I want to summarize with here is the sequential. We're at a 9+. Okay, so we hit overtime, but we've consolidated for about 5 or 6 hours here sideways. That's perfect. That's the exact amount of consolidation that you're looking for the next potential leg up. So in truth, while we did become overextended in this little push here, this little run, it's consolidating nicely at this resistance level, and the likelihood of a breakout is much higher. Also continuing to have somewhat of a pattern here, a bullish pennant type of pattern. So to me, I think it makes more sense for GALA to continue higher. I personally am not the kind of person to want to get in at this level and try to take it long. I think we're kind of, I wouldn't say late to the game, but I'd much rather wait for a overextended short. So I'm going to set my alert for somewhere in the 1.7 range and pay attention and reevaluate. If we come up to that level, that would be a great place to consider a short position. Once again, we're overextended, we fill those gaps, fill that liquidity, and the price would come back down from there. Between now and then, it's kind of this no man's land where I prefer not to trade because too high, but also we should continue further, if that makes any sense. So again, interesting little situation here for GALA, but really, really cool nonetheless. So that's pretty much where we're at there. So for lack of better terms here, I'll go ahead and post a an update on my Twitter, my Telegram, and Discord, kind of showing a playout chart for this coin. It'll look something like this here, kind of explaining what could happen next. Summarizing the video here, but generally speaking, appreciate you liking, following, and subscribing, and of course helping us out with growing the community. Jump on over to our Discord. We got a good 11:36 now. We're having a decent amount of newer members come over, and it's just a lot of fun. So thanks again for being an amazing part of my life. I look forward to work with y'all. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Again, cryptocash.tech is a site. Link down below if you want to consider becoming a better trader with my private trading videos, trade signals, and of course, an awesome community. Thanks again for joining me here. Have a good rest of your day. See you next one.